Welcome to Mindful Drawing. I'm Robert, and I'll be your guide on this meditation practice that enters a space of mindfulness through the act of drawing. This week we'll jump right in by just making a mark guided by our breath. That mark represents the moment now between you, the pen or pencil or instrument that you're using, that empty page, and a deep entering and awareness of that breath that supports us here. Can bring relaxation, can bring openness, can bring tension, can be the oxygenator or the withholder. Our mind will be on the breath throughout the whole exercise. We will take it at an even pace so you can bring your own awareness and comfort to the way you're breathing. Some of them will be deeper, but if they become uncomfortable, there's a lot of pause and place in between to let everything even out. Some of them will be shallower, quicker, and again, those will find their natural rhythm, and then we'll be in an open space to play, to create, to draw, to experience that space of mindfulness we make by bringing some attention to something close at hand. I'm just going to have a piece of Bristol here on my table, as well as a simple micron pen, something that makes nice, clean marks as the ink flows. A pencil will work great too. Anything you have at hand will be perfect for the exercise. Go ahead and gather your supplies, establish your space, and let's draw together. I think this week I won't even start with a warm-up. We'll just dive in and see how it unfolds through automatic drawing on the page. I use pen, so it's visible, but pen, pencil, anything you have handy will work. Sketchbook, pad of paper, a piece of Bristol like I have here. Just, it's easy to see. You can use anything you like. And while we wait for a couple people to get started, what you might begin to do, just get a sense of your position and orientation to that page. If it's something you can move around, finding a comfortable position relative to your primary drawing hand, or if it's something that's more fixed and stable, giving yourself a little motion, adjusting in a chair, or just moving side to side and feeling out your distance. Can you reach all the way to the edges of the paper? If not, that's okay. Just noticing it, noticing where you might be more engaged with the space in your body. And then if you have your pen or pencil handy, picking it up and beginning just to move it around, cap on or off, just hovering a bit above, a little randomly taking it on a journey or programmatically tracking through the space and working out all the corners and angles, kind of knowing where you are and being aware of it. And if you'd like to see closer what I'm doing, you can pin the view, but this one I think will be more just about what unfolds on your page with a few guides or cues to look at things at different relationships or scales. So to get started on that main page, finding somewhere where it feels nice to start, a god of engagement and extension out a little ways so the whole arm chain is active, holding that pen or pencil. And as you feel ready, taking a nice deep breath in, filling out some space, exhaling it to hear yourself make contact with that space around you, the air moving outward. And we'll begin drawing after the next inhale, finding a place to begin, setting down the pen and making a mark as you breathe out. Whenever that cue happens for you, just something there on the paper. Whatever comes with the breath, be short or long, cross, vertical, horizontal. And after letting that out, taking a moment or two to look at it with the eyes, notice its characteristics. If it was an exhalation mark, maybe the pen or pencil's a little heavier in the beginning, and a little lighter across. Perhaps it has a strong consistency all the way through, jumps and skips, as we weren't quite sure yet what we're doing. Whatever that character is, it sets the stage. Begin from here to work more marks to the page, starting with that same character, thinking about how you bring it into your action. And then, kind of like a leaf or something, just work on either side, extending more lines or curves in a similar way, but new directions. Direction up to you, fanning, parallel, wiggly, crossing, or separate. Some of you can do eyes open or closed. But we'll do each one on the cue of our breath cycles to begin with, just to enter a little bit of relaxing headspace. So breathing in, finding a place on one side or the other, and exhaling a new mark relative to its space on the paper, relative to that breath's exhalation. We'll always have a few breaths in between so we don't get over oxygenated by it. But when you're ready, you take a new breath in, find a new place, and exhale a new mark to that territory on the page, one side or the other of the curve. And feel free to jump back and forth between sides or stick to one, whatever comes to you as you work. That inhalation, a time to notice where you are, establish, and then exhale something out into that empty territory. I'll do a few more together on cue, and then kind of open it up to what works for your breath pattern. A little time between each one at first, noticing the effects, just being present with the body as it prepares for the next inhalation. And expression. Couple light breaths in between to catch up, inhaling for the beginning, exhaling for completion, perhaps starting to notice relationships, letting them stay open with an inhalation, or perhaps beginning to bring guidance to them as you see something there, a collection of roughly repeated lines of a specific character. Breathing in, taking in that space of the drawing, and exhaling to contribute something new to that space. Notice where you are at the top of those breaths, fully expanded. Feel the connection as the hand moves, the pen engages quickly or slowly to the paper, and the breath empties the space of the body, refilling and expelling. And start to find your own rhythm there. They don't all have to be full, deep breaths, but from time to time, noticing that full cycle of inhalation and the full action of exhalation. We'll just keep drawing both sides of the line, filling up that territory of the page at your pace of inhaling and exhaling. As the breaths are more normal, more natural, not so deep, they can become a little quicker in the engagement. We just breathe in and breathe out. The hand follows, finding place and working out. One side begins to fill up. Switch to the other. The same rhythm. The proximity and orientation to the edges brings variation and character to the lines. They may take on different shape and direction on each side, or build on each other, whatever comes to you as you breathe in, find a place, and exhale that same motion of the first line on the page. And depending on how large your sheet is or how many places you have there, you start to reach an end of space. We'll take the same idea down and along to the other divisions on the paper. So whenever you're ready, you might find the place on either side of a new line and start the same cycle. Shorter distance, a new chance to observe and be aware of how to adapt to the orientation, how you adapt to the space between keeping things bound, as I am here, perhaps letting them be free to move across. A little of both might happen as you get familiar with the new space, or bringing your attention to each scale of interaction around the line. Just a simple inhalation and exhalation. As the space becomes smaller, you might find that you can draw on both. But still noticing when breath comes in, and the breath goes out, it approaches a more static rhythm. You can work in and out, down, smaller and smaller, as the place divides more and more. Work back out again to places yet unexplored. Each has its own rhythm, that breath cycle, its own level of attention to the engagement and interaction of space. So you need a break from one, take a few breaths, move to another layer or level. The bigger ones, a little more freedom to move. Smaller ones, a little more precision, control. Bigger ones, a chance to refill, reoxygenate with larger breaths, preparing location, and exhaling out into the space. The medium ones, a nice soft ground, perhaps a place to move a little quicker, shorter strokes. Breaths encompass a few on the in, a few on the out. Finding a place of comfortable engagement. Still observing and noticing the character of that mark. Placing and expressing outward, whether it's the feathery, thick to thin, the consistent, the light or the heavy. Looking back from time to time to that first mark, bringing a bit of memory of it with you at each size, each scale of interaction. If you have a larger page territory, there may be a little more room to have that oscillation scale. Move in for a while, move out for a while. But at any size, you can come back to one zone or another and add something in between. Perhaps a light following of a previous path. Place yet unexplored. It might take on new characters, working into the density of the page. As more line and definition fill out some of the space, your eye may see opportunity, or you may search through those zones, find where the pen can make its engagement, where the pencil can add definition, tone. We'll take a few moments here around the middle of the exercise. Tested many places, begun mapping conditions with many potentials within the space next to curves, more curves. And use that definition of the territory to open up, just begin exploring repetition, relaxing tempo of the breath, or anything else you see start to emerge within the little gaps in the flow out of a line. Take those few minutes of quiet drawing with your space. As you have a little time in there just to explore, bring forward in the mind some attention to what you're discovering. Perhaps rhythms, patterns, things you see, surface, form, structure, or just a pattern in the way you engage, the more lines guiding the interaction, where we can find a rhythm there to how we continue to fill out some territory. You can make that conscious connection, mindful observance of how one rhythm connects to another. Noticing when you breathe in and breathe out. Noticing when that connects, the movement of the hand. In the awareness, the observation of those two conditions, cycles, inhalation, cycles of marks. We bring them a little bit closer together, perhaps with some conscious intent, perhaps just in the watching of things, they drift towards each other. With our mind aware, how our thinking engages with the paper, or thinking engages with our body. the breath, the movement of the hand, and how we become thinking with the mark, thinking with the expression on the page. Thinking with the body as much as the mind. Aligning whole facets of our presence here. With a little time, a little observance of our natural cycles and rhythms, slowly builds through simple technique or action into something larger, abstract or beginnings of concrete conditions, but just unique to the moment, the drawing, and the guidance we bring. When we notice that inhalation that moves the pen or pencil to a new place, that exhalation that gives a little more swoosh or character to the line. Notice when perhaps we get sucked in a little too deep to one way, we start to rush, get tired, our eyes a little blurrier, the tiny marks. We observe this moment. We can take a step to another scale, another level. Breathe at a little different pace. Connect mind, body, a little different way. Using the territory of the page to explore something external, the thing that emerges from the marks. At the same time, to explore internally our own senses and engagement with action. These shorter 20-30-minute exercises, producing just enough time to find places of flow or rhythm, or places of discomfort, tension. Give us some room to work with them or through them, breathing into tension, flowing along a rhythm found. Similar actions of engagement. We bring our mind into presence. Wherever you're at with the cycle, a large place here to continue working things into. Perhaps different zones emerge with different characters and intensities related by that first mark, and our return from time to time to attention to it. Character of how the breath guided that first interaction from instrument to the paper. And bring different ways and scales of thinking together. Help to see one thing emerge from the many. Take the last few minutes to go in deeper to find maybe details or places, emphasis, places to draw out more or bring your own reading to as they take a little more shape and figure. And see what you find there. A couple of minutes. Of mindfulness you might engage in, this act of mindful drawing, and observation of where the mind can travel, starting from a few marks to an instrument, and some time spent just deeply inhabiting their action of being, or meditation practice, or breath counting. Any of these, taking a little inner space to build the world out, to see from a different view or a different speed. And perhaps with the drawing remains more just curves and lines, the character of expression, abstract patterns merging around the accumulation of the many things. Or perhaps it takes on shape and figure, something imagined somewhere. You can notice it for a bit as we close out the exercise, slowly bringing the pen or pencil to a rest when you feel ready. If you feel ready, welcome to continue drawing if you like. Taking a look, letting the eyes absorb what's there, the orientation can have a big effect. The little early decisions of parallel or diverging, crossing, or discrete can have great consequences. We let our imagination work with what is below. And take a couple closing breaths, breathing in with the eyes open, closing them for a moment at the top, and then letting the breath unfold out as the body relaxes, leaving the eyes closed for another breath in and out. And on a final closing cycle of exhalation, we'll inhale with eyes closed, and on the exhalation, let them open. Seeing the page, the space around you, pencil, the pen, your hands, everything back whole in the world, zooming back out again as you prepare to move on to the next part of your day. I see a few things emerging there, and I think for the most part I'll just spend 10 more minutes playing and drawing and making some connections, deepening the resolution and integration of some of the different zones that have developed in my drawing. So if you have the time, I encourage you to also take a little more to it, add some shade and shadow, make some links and connections where there are gaps before, and see what starts to resolve out of that first stroke marking the configuration and space of the paper. And if you enjoyed the exercise, let me know in the comments, give it a thumbs up and share with your friends, bring more people into the mindful drawing experience. Usually new episodes here every Wednesday, so subscribe to find those. And in the meantime, draw well. Thank you.